Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors are still trying to sign a big man who is a solid center and can address the Warriors' needs in the paint. NBA rumors: Warriors want to sign Nikola Vucevic from the Chicago Bulls. However, it's become clear that Golden State no longer have any interest in Vucevic, instead focusing on a pursuit of another veteran stretch 5 and 39-year-old Al Horford. While that may mean Vucevic is off the radar right now, it doesn't mean the front office won't have interest in the future. The Warriors could target Nikola Vucevic when he becomes a free agent. Speaking on the latest episode of his show, The Ringer's Zach Lowe shot down the idea of Vucevic still joining the Warriors in a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and-trade. Yet Lowe did add a final detail that shouldn't go unnoticed, suggesting Golden State's current disinterest would only be relative to Vucevic's current contract. "I don't think Vuce to Golden State is a thing. I don't think it is a thing. I'm not sure it really ever was a thing, on this current contract anyway," Lowe said. It wouldn't be surprising for the Warriors to show interest in Vucevic again the next time he becomes a free agent, which will presumably be next offseason after completing his expiring $21.5 million contract. However, there's also an avenue to Vucevic becoming a free agent before then should the Bulls fail to find a trade partner in the next few months. If the franchise truly views next season as a rebuilding one, it's not inconceivable to see them executing a buyout with Vucevic as a host of teams have already done with other players in recent weeks. That could provide Golden State with an absolute gift, and presumably they'd have interest even if they do sign Horford in the near future. Vucevic finished last season averaging a very solid 18.5 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, shooting 53% shooting from the floor and 40.2% from three-point range. The Warriors have already been linked to another player who technically isn't a free agent yet, having been viewed as a contender to land 3x All-Star Bradley Beal once he finalizes a buyout with the Phoenix Suns. Warriors expected to sign Al Horford and Anthony Melton. The Golden State Warriors are expected to sign Al Horford and Anthony Melton, according to NBA insider Mark Stein of the Stein Line. Horford and Melton are still on the open market, but they could sign with the Warriors soon. Horford played for the Boston Celtics last season, while Melton appeared in 6 games with the Warriors before tearing his left ACL. Golden State traded Melton to the Brooklyn Nets after the ACL injury. Horford played in 60 games for the Celtics last season. The 5-time All-Star and 2024 NBA champion averaged 9.0 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists while shooting 42.3% overall, 36.3% from beyond the arc and 89.5% from the foul line. Meanwhile, Melton averaged 10.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists last season with Golden State while shooting 40.7% from the field, 37.1% from beyond the arc and 62.5% from the free throw line. The Warriors lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second round of the 2025 playoffs in 5 games after beating the Houston Rockets in the first round in 7 games. Warriors receive suggestion to sign Victor Oladipo. Could the Warriors fulfill Victor Oladipo's dream of an NBA comeback? Veteran guard Victor Oladipo is eyeing an NBA comeback, having been riddled by injury issues in recent years. The 33-year-old has not played in an NBA game since April 2023, while he's remarkably played in only 138 games since way back in the 2017-18 season. There's understandably going to be some hesitation on whether Oladipo can provide real value to a team now after so many injury setbacks, but he did reportedly impress in a recent workout in Las Vegas with a number of teams in attendance. Oladipo played full-court 5-on-5 in a group workout of international pros. Multiple team sources in attendance came away impressed, with Oladipo described as being in excellent shape as he pursues another comeback, ESPN reported on Tuesday. "I feel so great right now. Better than I felt in the last 7 years mind, body, and soul. I know I am a fighter. I know I am a warrior. I have seen every lens this game and this league has to offer. I know I can help any team in any role win in any way. I also know the people want Victor Oladipo, at Vic Oladipo, July 14, 2025. Oladipo was a 2x All-Star with the Indiana Pacers in 2018 and 2019, having emerged as one of the best players in the league after starting his career with the Orlando Magic and playing 1 year with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He averaged 23.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists and a league-leading 2.4 steals per game in the 2017-18 season, shooting 47.7% from the floor and 37.1% from three-point range. 3 moves Warriors can make to recover disastrous offseason. The Golden State Warriors continue to remain quiet as a mouse in free agency. They have been forced to watch the other Western Conference contenders get better around them while remaining stagnant themselves. Fans have quickly grown frustrated with the situation in Golden State. However, there is still time in free agency to change the evaluation that the Warriors receive for this offseason. With several key names still available, and situations evolving by the day, the Warriors should have several opportunities to make their splashes when the time comes. Lock down Al Horford. Let's start with the obvious. The Warriors have been connected to Al Horford as the presumed front-runners for a substantial amount of time this offseason. Sealing the deal will feel oh so sweet for Golden State. Assuming Horford does not opt to just kick his feet up and call it a career, the veteran big man should have the inside track to starting at the 5 in 2025-26. That will provide the Warriors with a solid short-term solution. Horford averaged 9.0 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 0.9 blocks per game, while shooting 36.3% from beyond the arc in 2024-25. The former champion should still have enough gas in the tank to help alleviate Draymond Green of needing to play center full-time. Sign and trade Jonathan Kuminga to the Sacramento Kings. On July 6, Anthony Slater wrote, "The Sacramento Kings have been strongest pursuer of Jonathan Kuminga, but nothing has come close. Finally getting movement on the Kuminga front is necessary for the Warriors to get the rest of their offseason properly moving. If the Kings are the team most interested, they should be the partner here. The major roadblock would be the type of contract that the athletic forward may desire. A big payday may elude Kuminga here as Malik Monk stands out as the natural candidate to be sent back the other way for Golden State. The Warriors could certainly acquire a couple of more players to allow Kuminga some extra financial flexibility. However, the 22-year-old would likely need to temper his expectations overall. Add a key free agent guard. If the Warriors are not yielding someone like Monk in a sign-and-trade for Kuminga, they will still need to address the need for additional firepower. There should be a few key names to monitor. A reunion with DeAnthony Melton has been suggested. Adding Bradley Beal in the instance of a buyout could also prove worthwhile. Perhaps even adding someone like Malcolm Brogdon to run the second unit would have its worth. The young wing has been forgotten in lineup conversations. When you look at any iteration of a Golden State Warriors starting lineup that fans or analysts are concocting right now, few if any are going to mention young wing Moses Moody. In fact, given the uncertainty around the roster right now and Moody's sharp decline in form to end the season, he and his new 3-year, $37.5 million contract are being more discussed as a potential trade chip rather than a starting candidate for the Warriors next season. However, that should probably change given Moody has revealed just to what extent he was impacted by a thumb injury late in the season. Moses Moody could be a starting candidate again next season. In a recent interview with Monty Poole of NBC Sports Bay Area, Moody revealed the discomfort he faced with a torn ulnar collateral ligament, UCL, which he had surgery on shortly after Golden State's playoff elimination. "I had to shoot with 4 fingers, I couldn't grab the ball. I didn't know that it was torn. If I knew that, then that might have been different," Moody said. "And then it was that stretch when we were in that sprint to the playoffs. We were trying to get there. We were winning. Stuff was going good for us, so I wasn't going to stop." Moody may have kept playing, but there's no doubt about the impact of the injury after also revealing that he sustained it during a game on March 18 against the Milwaukee Bucks. The numbers speak for themselves before and after that date. In the 14 straight games where Moody was a starter before the injury, he averaged 12.8 points and 3.3 rebounds on 49.2% shooting from the floor and 43.3% from three-point range on nearly 5 attempts per game. In the 13 games to close the regular season after the injury, Moody averaged 9.0 points and 2.7 rebounds on 38.5% from the floor and 31.1% from beyond the arc. The struggles continued in the playoffs where the former 14th overall pick shot averaged 7.1 points on 35% shooting and 33.3% from deep, having lost his starting role in the process. Given the growth we saw in Moody's game before the injury, and how good of a team Golden State became during this period, the injury revelation should reduce any chance of him being traded this offseason unless Golden State can get something really valuable in return. In fact, the conversation should perhaps be focused more on Moody's role next season, and whether he could actually regain a starting spot for Steve Kerr. Given the need for shooting around Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, along with the requirement for point-of-attack defense, it's not impossible to envision Moody as a starter, as surprising as it would be for many right now. The Warriors' inability to land Derek White will only further frustrate fans. White would have been a perfect backcourt partner for Stephen Curry, with his versatile skill set on both ends proving so valuable in Boston's success over recent years. The 6'4" guard is coming off a career-best season where he averaged 16.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists on 38.4% shooting from three-point range, over 9 attempts per game, while also finishing 10th in Defensive Player of the Year. Fisher didn't go into details on what a trade may have looked like, but did note that deals for White and Jaylen Brown never really got close. The Celtics now appear to be pushing on with both Brown and White as Tatum recovers from injury, having addressed their payroll situation by trading veterans Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. This reported interest in White will only further frustrate Golden State fans who are still waiting for the franchise to make their first move since free agency opened over 2 weeks ago. Missing out on White is just another example of the Warriors being linked to a player, but ultimately being unable to get a deal over the line. The news comes after Golden State also missed out on another high-level 2 guard in the form of Bradley Beal on Wednesday, with the 3X All-Star rejecting interest from the Warriors and others to sign a 2-year deal with the LA Clippers. Reported interest in White and Beal does signify Golden State's desire to add backcourt reinforcements this offseason, having also been linked to a number of players that remain available in free agency. The Warriors are expected to reunite with former guard DeAnthony Melton on a minimum deal, while they also reportedly reached out to Damian Lillard in the aftermath of his stunning departure from the Milwaukee Bucks. Malcolm Brogdon, Ben Simmons, and Seth Curry are also options that have been linked to the Warriors, but who they ultimately end up with is unlikely to be known until they find a resolution with restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga.